Alright, today I'm talking about the Evertune bridge and the zones. Now, what are zones? What is the bend zone? How does this thing even work? I'm going to talk about that and tell you in today's video. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Evertune or Solar or anybody. Okay, so how does the Evertune work? Well, I'm pretty sure you have a string counteracted by a spring per string. It is a tension-based system, so the more you tighten the string at the tuning head right here, the more it's going to be pulling against that spring. Now, these springs don't have infinite travel. If you tighten the string up here and you add enough tension, eventually you'll get to the limit, and the spring won't have any farther to go within the physical housing. It also works the other way. If you loosen the string and reduce the tension enough, the spring won't have anywhere to go but the other way, and it'll pull the string all the way down. So where the spring is bottoming out the mechanism, these are where the zone boundaries are. So then the bend zone is that first scenario I described, when you tighten it all the way. You could technically loosen it all the way, but then whenever you bend the string to add tension, your bends would go to where the spring has travel and they would be cut short. That's also how the Evertune works, in that kind of middle zone then, where the spring has room to move either way. That's how it holds your strings in tune. That's why you can't really bend when you're in that kind of middle zone. But I have noticed the pitch does change a little bit when you're tuning up through that middle zone. I think that's also how this bridge goes out of tune over time. Maybe it loosens, maybe the strings stretch out over time. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just some guy on the internet. But I do notice every few days or so, I do need to check and tighten up the tuning a little bit. You use the key here in the holes on the bridge. So to get to the bend zone then, you tune up or add tension to the string, you get to that middle zone. And when you notice the pitch is starting to increase again after staying pretty much even for a long time, that's when you've hit that bend zone, so you want to back off until the pitch just starts going even, and then you want to get right up close to where you're hitting that zone again. And so because of this, there's always going to be a little gap between when you're in that middle zone and then when the mechanism bottoms out. That's why there's a little delay when you're doing vibrato or bends. And the closer you get, the less of a delay there's going to be. But it's always going to be there. And because the thing goes flat over time, it falls out of tune over time, that delay might be getting bigger and bigger. And that's when you need to quote unquote tune up here. That's what I've noticed with using guitars with Evertunes. And I'm not criticizing the Evertune. I find it extremely useful. My rhythm guitar playing especially sounds better than ever using these tools. It is a mechanical system, and mechanical systems aren't magic, so it's good to understand how it works. So procedure for tuning and getting to the bend zone, I'd recommend getting fairly into that middle zone, tuning up down here, getting close to the pitch, and then you get towards the bend zone by then tightening the string by using the tuning heads up here. And once you're getting to that bend zone, check your pitch again, tune up at the holes down here, repeat the process until you get to where you want to be. And of course, if you want to get to that middle zone, you're trying to record or play a song, you need this in a live application. Of course, reduce the tension on the string by tuning down at the tuning head, and then recheck your tuning and tune up here on the holes on the saddles. And you want to do that because as you reduce the tension on the string, I've noticed it does go slightly flat, so you want to check that. So there you have it. There's a quick explanation of the zones and how to get to the bend zone. Do you have any other questions? Have you noticed anything else about the Evertune bridge you'd like to share? Be sure to comment down below and then join the Discord to continue the discussion. We have a good time talking about guitars there. Of course, this is YouTube, so I have to say the YouTube things. Be sure to like and comment, subscribe and share the video, print out every frame and mail it. Join the Discord, check out the Patreon, stream my music on Spotify and all major streaming services. And as always, peace.